In this lecture, I'll be talking about operators. An operator is a method of packaging, deploying, and managing a Kubernetes application. This definition comes from the CoreOS.com website /operators, because it's the CoreOS team that actually came up with this method, the operator. It puts operational knowledge in an application. It brings the user closer to the experience of managed cloud services, rather than having to know all the specifics of an application deployed to Kubernetes. Once an operator is deployed, it can be managed using custom resource definitions, arbitrary types that extend the Kubernetes API. I just explained you this in the previous lecture. It also provides a great way to deploy stateful services on Kubernetes because a lot of complexities can be hidden from the end user. Any third party can create operators that you can start using. There are operators for Prometheus, for Vault, for Rook, which is providing storage, for MySQL, for PostgreSQL, and so on. On a side note, if you're interested, for example, in Rook, which can provide you storage, I have another course on Kubernetes, which is called On-Premise or Cloud Agnostic Kubernetes. It's also available on the Udemy marketplace. And this has a couple of lectures on Rook, which is also using an operator. In the next demo, I will show you how to start using an operator for PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL is a database. It's stateful, so it's a little bit more difficult to manage. So our operator will help us manage PostgreSQL. If you were just deploy a PostgreSQL container, it will only start a database. If you're going to use a PostgreSQL operator, it allows you to also create replicas, initiate a failover, create backups, scale, and so on. So you see it's similar to RDS on AWS, if you are familiar with that. The operator is acting more like a service on the cloud. An operator contains a lot of the management logic that you as an administrator or user might want, rather than having to implement it yourself. So if you were just to deploy a Postgres container, you would have to implement replicas, failover, and backups and how to scale it. Here, this is already written for you in an operator, and you only have to use the tools around this operator to then be able to use these functionalities. We will use tools that come with this PostgreSQL operator. Here, I just wanted to give you an example YAML extract where you can see that we are going to use custom objects. Here we have a different API version, and we have kind PG cluster, which is a PostgreSQL cluster. This resource doesn't exist on every cluster. You need to create this CRD first, and only then you can create these kind of objects on your cluster. And this PG cluster is a cluster that is managed by the operator, and then this can provide the extra functionality. In the next demo, I will show you how this works.